The surrender of German forces at Stalingrad in February signifies a pivotal turning point, illustrating the diminishing power of the Axis on the Eastern Front. This crucial event reshapes the dynamics of warfare across Europe. The Casablanca Conference in January 1943 unveils tensions among Allied leaders over military strategy, particularly regarding the timing of a Western Europe invasion versus Mediterranean operations. These deliberations mold the Allied approach moving forward. Operations Frühlingswind and Morgenluft exemplify the Axis's efforts to reclaim North Africa, yet they reveal significant logistical challenges and the increasing resilience of Allied forces. These confrontations lay the groundwork for future battles. Rommel's tactical maneuvers, especially his decision to divide his forces, weakened the German offensive. This allowed Allied troops to regroup and counterattack effectively, ultimately stalling their advance. Colonel Stark faced criticism for his indecisiveness and lack of clear orders, which hampered the U.S. defensive strategy during the conflict. This indecision contributed to their inability to secure key positions. In the aftermath of Kasserine Pass, U.S. General Fredendall was replaced by General Patton, marking a significant shift in military leadership and strategy for upcoming engagements. This change aimed to rectify previous command failures. The Luftwaffe suffered severe losses in Tunisia, crippling their capacity to support operations in both Tunisia and Stalingrad. This downturn forced the Axis powers into a more defensive stance. The Allies developed an operational doctrine that effectively harnessed mechanization and logistics, turning industrial strength into battlefield success against German forces. This marked a crucial evolution in military tactics. The threat posed by German U-boats constituted a significant challenge to Allied shipping and operations, necessitating a coordinated response to maintain supply lines and prepare for future invasions. Control over the Atlantic became essential for the Allies. High-frequency direction-finding technology enabled the Allies to intercept U-boat communications, enhancing their capability to counteract and engage German submarines effectively. By 1943, this technology became widely used. The organization of Allied convoys improved as civilian experts advocated for larger convoys to enhance protection. This strategic adjustment facilitated more efficient utilization of escort vessels. A decline in U-boat crew experience significantly hindered their operational success, as most commanders had far less experience compared to earlier years. This led to escalating casualties and reduced effectiveness. The initial aerial and naval bombardments aimed to disrupt Axis supply lines, yielding a significant reduction in enemy aircraft in Sicily. This strategic action was vital for achieving air superiority. Paratroopers struggled with serious coordination issues during their drops due to adverse weather and anti-aircraft fire. These misdrops ultimately diminished their immediate impact on the ground, though they created confusion for Axis forces. Despite heavy resistance, Allied forces quickly adapted, securing critical locations such as the Ponte Grande Bridge. Capturing these points was essential for sustaining momentum during the invasion. The lack of coordination between air and ground forces resulted in tragic friendly fire incidents, leading to numerous casualties among Allied troops. This highlighted the urgent need for better communication. The British 8th Army encountered strong German defenses, resulting in protracted fighting amidst challenging terrain. Montgomery's strategies faced setbacks despite some initial achievements. American forces, particularly under General Patton, aimed to assert their presence by seizing key locations like Palermo. Securing these positions was crucial for maintaining public support for the war effort. Operation Husky led to heavy casualties for both Allied and Axis forces, with thousands killed, wounded, or missing. The high stakes of this campaign underscored the war's brutal realities. The coordination challenges among Allied forces during the invasion illuminated the difficulties of joint operations, with miscommunication and command frustrations undermining overall effectiveness and strategy. The aftermath of the invasion prompted political shifts in Italy, including the removal of Mussolini. This change raised new questions regarding Italy's role in the war and the ongoing struggle against Axis powers. In June, the Soviets launched 1,100 attacks on German logistics, inflicting substantial damage on their infrastructure before the pivotal Battle of Kursk. This strategic initiative bolstered Soviet defenses. Hitler's decision to target Kursk was swayed by his generals, despite his initial leanings towards the Donbass region. Their insistence on focusing on Kursk would ultimately prove detrimental. During the battle, German forces underestimated Soviet strength, which included advanced weaponry and significantly larger troop numbers. This grave miscalculation significantly contributed to their defeat at Kursk. The Red Army's initial surprise attack caught German forces off guard, leading to fierce combat. SS soldiers described the chaos they faced as they battled overwhelming Soviet numbers. Soviet forces endured catastrophic casualties, with estimates indicating over 1.2 million soldiers killed or wounded. Nonetheless, this operation was crucial in showcasing Soviet military resilience. The aftermath of Kursk had significant repercussions on German morale and military strategy. The Wehrmacht's inability to realize their objectives shifted the balance of power on the Eastern Front. The initial success of the Regensburg bombing campaign was overshadowed by the delayed Schweinfurt mission, which encountered intensified German resistance and diminished bombing effectiveness. This strategic error had lasting consequences. The psychological toll on bomber crews was profound, with high casualty rates leading to mental health struggles and social stigma. Many airmen grappled with the moral complexities of their missions. The infamous reputation of the 100th Bomber Group, known as the Bloody 100th, arose from their severe losses. Their position in formations rendered them particularly vulnerable to enemy assaults. U.S. bombing operations faced significant obstacles, including the necessity for improved fighter escorts and mechanical failures during critical raids. Coordination challenges led to devastating losses for American bombers. Despite assertions of substantial damage to German factories, Allied bombing campaigns failed to disrupt production as intended. Historical analyses reveal that German arms production continued to escalate throughout 1943. The bombing campaigns inadvertently bolstered German air defense capabilities, as resources were redirected towards anti-aircraft measures, affecting frontline weapon availability and overall military efficiency. Operation Reinhard led to the systematic extermination of approximately 1.8 million Jews across 3 major camps, exemplifying the brutal efficiency of the Nazi regime. By 1943, vast populations had been decimated. International responses to the Holocaust varied, with nations like Denmark actively working to protect their Jewish populations by facilitating escapes, while others collaborated with Nazis in their genocidal actions. Resistance movements in the Warsaw Ghetto and other camps showcased the unyielding spirit of defiance among Jewish prisoners, as they fought back against their oppressors, fully aware of the dire consequences.